Greetings, Brother President John.
Greetings, Brother Orman. Greetings, family. Greetings, Second Vice President, Brother Malik. Greetings, Mama Mina. Brother Mason's going to be leading tonight's meeting.
Yes, greetings, family. And welcome everybody to the Business Development Meeting. Here we are, UNIA-ACL 421 here in Atlanta, Georgia. All right. So, of course, we are here post-election for the United States, which most of the people which we serve. Of course, University Negro Improvement Association, our mission is to serve Black people wherever they are. So we are always should be on top of what's going on in the lives of our people, what they're dealing with, because we have been chosen, or we have made the decision to place ourselves in the position to be to provide resources for our people. So just wanted to briefly start off with that, just because that's the climate that we're in. But we talked yesterday. We had our president's call with our presidents around the world, and we all had the same sentiment. You know, this is a time where we people can understand that we have to be the solution. And of course, it's our job here and our goal. We've been all part of the solution so far. Everybody here has been working towards that, who's on the call, and we appreciate everybody for being a part of that solution. Today, I wanted to go back to Garvey. I wanted to read the 5-year plan because Garvey had he has the blueprint for what our people need. Right now, people feel like the times are uncertain because the leadership that in place maybe not be who they wanted to vote for, but we have to be the leadership that our people need. That's why Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, built the UNIA. As he looked around and saw, asked his question, where are our men of big affairs? He said we must make them. So it's our job to take up that charge and help make men of big affairs. And I feel like the one that starts with like Garvey said, self-reliance and all about confidence. And we as an organization can help position our members to have the self-reliance and the confidence that they need. And Garvey created confidence by creating order and organization. Those will be the tools that will help drive our race forward, our people forward. In these uncertain times, we have to continue to organize. So today, I wanted to read the 5-year plan that in a message to the people, of course, from African philosophy. So that for me, I believe is the first step to organization, and that is why Marcus Garvey posed this plan. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to actually come in on a separate Zoom and share from that one on my screen. I appreciate all of your patience. Anybody have any comments about the state of our people, the election, how you feel going forward before we get started?
I feel we should be more united than ever, and we should get into preparatory modes for whatever the hell they may throw at us, and just hope for the best. Hopefully, Trump is supposed to be a money guy, that financially things will improve for everybody, not just a few. So only time will tell, though. So just have to stay hopeful and positive.
Okay. Anybody else?
I meant to say greetings and welcome everyone as well.
Greetings, Lady President.
Race first.
Race first, family.
That's first.
I think that we got to be more political in our lives. We take a lot of things for granted. And these people, they're not playing. For them to put that criminal back in office, man, it's insane. We're gonna have to start being as nasty as they are to fight them off, man. You know, they got the money, they got the control right now. They got the judges. We just gonna have to learn the laws and better prepare ourselves, man, for what might be coming up. Race first.
Race first. Anybody else?
Yes, may I?
Yes, please.
Yes, I see these as trying times. These are the times, as they say, to test man's soul. There's a lot of things happening out there that if you're not aware of them, they're like beyond your control. Well, they're kind of beyond our control anyway. The most important thing that we can do is keep a steady head and develop inner and internal cohesion and through knowledge of what we're learning, like from you, about the 5-year plan that Brother Marcus Garvey was going to give us. We're going to be able to use a lot of those principles and ideas that were presented by the Honorable Marcus Garvey, and they're going to have to be, matter of fact, they should be in practice in our lives now as far as making ourselves more independent. But with the new regime that we have in there now, we're going to have to do even more to be psychologically detached from that world, because that world is chaos. And if we focus on that world and watch everything that they're doing, we will be in a kind of a confused, chaotic situation like them. This is an opportunity for us to do a lot of inner engineering, inner development within ourselves, grow ourselves up, make sure that we're not fragile psychologically, that we're not being shocked by things. Because when we're shocked by things, that means that we weren't ignorant, that we didn't have knowledge of it. So we have to make sure that we're informed and make sure that we're growing ourselves to become more human, to become more spiritual, more in tune, so that when you walk out there, I was listening, I think I forgot the person who was saying it now, but it says when you go out there in this world now, you have to bring all your ancestors with you as you walk out the door, which means that your power is in your ancestors and they're there and available, and you sort of like surround yourself spiritually as you go out. You literally have to, because this is a very, very, very wicked world out there. Now, Sodom and Gomorrah, yes, and all them other things. So we have to definitely prepare ourselves spiritually, put on the whole armor of God, as they say, which is your ancestors, your knowledge of self, your humility. You know, just your humility will get you through a lot of them doors. And I don't focus on what they're doing because I know that they got a plan. But if you got a plan and you're focusing in your plan, you don't have to worry too much. You know, you have to keep an eye on that. You have to keep an eye on everything, because awareness is the key. We have to be totally aware, knowledge of ourselves, and be very familiar with our surroundings wherever we are. And we wouldn't have any problems. We would just keep on growing. As long as you're growing spiritually and developing, you'll have your trials and your tribulations, but they're just little lessons on the side. But as long as we stay focused and follow the path and start absorbing this information, like what you're going to give tonight, and the teachings of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, we need all that stuff at work right now within our beings, you know? And it should have been there already if we were prepared, but this is the right time. This is the right day And this is the right time. I don't get upset by this election thing there. Pardon me, I'm running on. But no, we just have to be strong, stay focused, and walk out into this world and go do what you have to do and grow yourself up, and the pathway will open up for you. The ancestors will open up the pathway for you. Race first.
Race first. Is there anybody else speak on this topic?
Greetings, Brother Mason. So I just got back. Was there a proposal or anything that was?
No, right now, can you make my laptop the co-host? I logged in. But we were talking about the election, the state of where we are right now, and of course we I let our people know let the group know that of course it's our job to put ourselves in position to be the answer, basically the solution.
Yes.
And we were getting feedback from individuals on how they feel about it, and we were just opening the floor for people to speak on how they feel about the situation, state of our people, the election, or anything.
Understand. Yeah, I don't have no comment as of right now for me personally, but thank you for the update.
Yeah, can you make my laptop the co-host?
I thought it did. iPad.
The one that says with the white picture on it.
How many you got, bro?
Macy's 10-2.
Oh, Macy. Oh my God, way down here.
I came in last. That one.
Yeah, 3
Thanks.
accounts. Thought we had a lot of people up here. It's just Macy's.
I'm only on twice. My laptop has horrible mic, but it's easy for me to share the 5-year plan on it. So I'm on my phone with my mic. I got two. I appreciate it, President John. So, without confidence, we are. Who want to finish that?
I can, but I would.
Nah, yeah, not you. Without confidence, we are. Anybody? Old Marcus Garvey quote.
Twice defeated.
Twice defeated. And it is my opinion that there is systematically a psyop to make us lose our confidence. And I feel like as an organization, we can systematically instill confidence in our followers, our people, and through organizations. That's our goal. Our number one goal is to help. The election was all about confidence. It's all about selling confidence to the people. Who can do that? Who did that the best is who won the election. Like Sister Diane said, Trump is an economist, and some people who feel like he's an economist, they have more confidence in him that he will provide the things that they need to enhance their quality of life. And that's what the number one most sold thing is the world is right now. People will sell their time, their energy, and their commitment to the organization, government that makes them feel confident that they will have the resources they need. So we have to position ourselves to provide resources that will instill confidence that our people will have the life that they deserve. And for me, it starts with lesson 22. It starts with the entire thing. But these are action steps. This is the 5-year plan that Marcus Garvey put in place. So I'll read through it, and then we'll discuss it, and then we can talk about how we can execute this going forward, and then how this could be a tool to build confidence for our people. Well, so I will jump right into the reading. Anybody have any comments before we jump into the reading? Can everybody see it? If I can this over. I don't know what that is. Fix that up. Okay, there we go. All right.
I had a question, Brother Mason.
Go ahead, President John.
From a solutions implementation standpoint, is what we are discussing when we discuss what we're about to discuss, is this on a national level, or is this something that can be done strictly locally? Or is national support required?
No, I mean, we can definitely start it local, but I feel like um, we all should have the mindset, in my opinion, that we have to position our government uh, as the answer. And I feel like that has to be. I'm in my mind, I'm talking as a marketer. Okay, when I'm talking as a marketer, um, I feel like we have to have a unified voice on what we're marketing to our people going forward. It starts locally, but I think we have to be all marketing the national vision. My opinion.
Okay, makes sense. Just checking.
All right. The 5-year plan of the UNIA. In 1934, at the at the International Convention of the UNIA held at Edelweiss Park, Crossroads Street, Andrew, Jamaica, BWI, the President General of the association presented to the convention in session the 5-year plan scheme as the most possible and practical scheme through which the association could rehabilitate itself, and carry out the major objectives of the organization. I'm gonna read that one more time. The 5-year plan scheme as the most possible and practical scheme through which the association could rehabilitate itself and carry out the major objects of the organization. The scheme was thoroughly discussed and adopted by resolutions, properly moved and seconded and carried unanimously. It set out in the reprint circular from the Black Man magazine, August through September 1935, herewith incorporated. They marketed it. They set it out in the magazine, the plan. Explanation of the 5-year plan. The 5-year plan is a scheme of colossal magnitude. Should the amount budgeted for be fully subscribed, it would enable the organization to, in a most practical and efficient manner, carry out not only the industrial, commercial, and other phases of the convention program, but to a greater extent, encourage and carry out many of the major objects for racial development. The idea is to get every Negro in the world to pledge to contribute voluntarily a sum of money for 5 years and pay the same within 5 years to the plan. The amount to be contributed is to be left entirely to the financial ability of the individual person. It was suggested that no person could be so poor as not to be able to contribute at least $5 within 5 years. Such a fund to assist in the general development of the race, hence, nobody should be left out. The majority of people would be in a better position to contribute larger sums within the 5 years. For instance, some may be able to contribute 10, 20, 100, 500, or 1,000 within 5 years. This is every reason why every Negro should contribute to this fund voluntarily, for it would supply the organization with the financial resources to work without prejudice in the complete interest of the race. It would help the organization realize all of its objectives from which each and every Negro would benefit. The method of contributing to the fund is as follows. A person desirous of contributing makes a voluntary pledge for the amount to be contributed within 5 years, to be paid in installments, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually until paid. If possible, one could pay his pledge in one payment. The pledge must be sent to the headquarters of the organization, the parent body, 2200 East 40th Street, Cleveland, Ohio. The person pledging must give his or her full name, correct address, and profession. The person may send their first installment with the pledge. On receipt of the first payment, a pledge card will be issued or headquarters to the subscriber or donor with the amount pledged written on the card and the amount of the installment paid also entered. Go ahead. Somebody. Okay.
No, I was just nodding. I was just in agreement. I was just
Yes. The card is returned to the donor with the request that whenever other installments are to be paid, that the card be forwarded with the installment for the amount to be entered on the card in the ledger at headquarters and returned to the donor. After the pledge is fully paid, a certificate is issued by the parent body to show that the particular person paid the pledge in contributing to the 5-year plan of the organization. Recognition. At the close of the 5-year period, a record will be published in which each donor who has paid up the pledge will have his or her name recorded for the information of all concerned. The amount of money collected in the plan will be appropriated for carrying out the many schemes authorized by the Convention of 1934. As set out in the circular referred to above and explaining the 5-year plan, great stress must be laid on the fact that for the Negro to realize the objective of a nation and government of his own, he must first have financial security. While no individual person can create a nation or a government for the race, because each individual is looking after his own personal and private business, there must be an organized, cooperative effort towards this end. Hence, the effort is represented by the UNIA, to which all Negroes must contribute and with which they must cooperate. Established nations and governments get their revenue from taxes levied on the citizens. The Negro, having no government, cannot raise revenue for such a purpose in that way. Hence, those who desire such a thing must be voluntary contributors. The establishment of the different enterprises which will help to find employment for Negroes and the profit of which will go to help the organization to carry out its nationalistic program is in keeping with the principles of the organization. To hold all its properties and wealth in hereditary trust for the Negro race. A contribution to the fund simply means that one is helping to place the race through organization in a position of financial security through which it can march on to the realization of nationhood and government. If everybody contributed just the amount of money that is thrown away on non-essentials in 5 years, it will turn out that the very amount that would have been lost in waste becomes the actual resource to establish that which is most needed by every Negro in the world. Therefore, it is a patriotic duty of every Negro to contribute to the fund to make the plan a success. The many enterprises we undertake in America, Canada, the West Indies, South and Central America, and Africa will be instrumental in finding employment for countless thousands of Negroes who never would have been employed otherwise. The plan is fully supported. The very magnitude of the plan would give it status that would compel respect for the aims of the organization by all races. The 5-year plan has been seen as the most thoughtful economic scheme that could be undertaken as a solution to the economic, industrial, political, and other problems of the Negro race. No Negro should be left out of an interview on the subject without fully convincing him that he should contribute and to have him contribute to such a plan. How to get results. There is no use trying to represent the UNIA before making up your mind to get good results. The most important results are financial, active, and moral support. Financial support means to get as much money as possible to help finance the program. In getting such money, you must do so at the least cost, so that the amount received will produce a net that can be used for the purpose for which it was obtained. Active results mean enrolling persons as active members of the association. People who will always work as members to help put the program over. Moral support means to secure sympathy and cooperation from individuals so that the organization can always count on such persons to do their best for the movement. The way to get money. There are many ways to get money for the UNIA. 1, approach and interview the most substantial members of the race in your community or your jurisdiction, such as the ministers of the gospel, doctors, lawyers, businessmen, and substantial tradesmen and persons of important occupations. Meet them at their homes or at their offices or place of business and seriously talk to them about the programs of the organization. Explain to them all its details, aims, and objectives, and after doing so, ask them to contribute to the assistance of the association. Whatever they contribute must always be recorded with their names, occupation, and address. The names of such people must always be transmitted to the parent body for record, and all remarks that may be necessary to explain the character and disposition of the person must be added to the report on each person, so that the parent body can be advised as to the nature of the person to help the cause. This is important also because communication with the people must be couched in language consistent with the person's disposition and intentions. It must be taken for granted that people of this class will be skeptical at first and have to be convinced by proper argument. If you can win over the support of such people who are the natural representative class of the race in the community, you have achieved a great deal in winning the kind of support that will enable the organization to speak with authority, because it has the best class of people supporting it. And approaching ministers of the gospel, always be diplomatic enough to convince them of the Christian policy of the organization and the willingness of the organization to support the cause of Christian religion. All right. All right. In approaching ministers of the gospel, always be diplomatic enough to convince them of the Christian policies of the organization and the willingness of the organization to support the cause of the Christian religion. If the preacher is won over and he contributes, you may get further assistance from him by seeking permission to speak to his congregation to raise funds for the organization. In doing so, always arrange with him that a percentage of what is raised is given to the church, so that he may feel interested in and satisfied to assist that way. No preacher to be left until he has consented to help in some way, because there is no greater way of the church showing its willingness to expand the functions of the church than by helping a cause like that of the UNIA. If the preacher refuses, it is evident that he has not been in touch with the proper argument, or that he is positively selfish. One of the arguments to be used with the preacher is that by preaching unity, the association is assisting the church by getting Negroes to support their own religion, just as they are encouraged to support everything else that is theirs. In approaching a doctor, you should point out that by the association preaching unity, self-support, and self-reliance, you are helping to increase his practice in the community. The same argument should be used for Negro lawyers and Negro businessmen. The argument for those who are in good positions, employed as they may be by white people, that the white people will not always employ Negroes. They will only do so until they have been approached or forced to substitute white employees for Negroes. You must convince these Negroes that the association is seeking to establish such economic and industrial independence for the race as to be able to find substantial employment for its own men and women of quality and ability, as evidenced by the program of the 5-year plan. Tell them that with the success their support will help bring about, this can be achieved. A general approach should also be made to all other Negroes in their homes or at any place that you may conveniently meet them. Get them to contribute individually by using good, sound arguments for their support. Number 6, the argument for the common people is that there is no economic security for the race when it has to always depend on the white man's employment. Therefore, by supporting the UNIA to the point of success, opportunities for employment will be created by the establishments of factories, mills, commercial, farming, and shipping enterprises, etc., which may offer them employment according to their training. You can explain to all of them, professional and common people alike, that contributing to the funds of the UNIA is no different to contributing to the funds of white organizations, which so many of them have done for so many centuries. But the point is that while contributing to white organizations, they are supplying the club to break their own heads economically and politically. In contributing to the UNIA, they will be supplying the ammunition that will be used to fight their enemies and to establish their own security. Explain to them that there is as much need for self-denial, even to the poorest person of the race, to help the UNIA, as the self-denial to help other causes with which they are not directly identified. There should be a proper method of approach in acquiring funds for the organization. If you are a representative of the organization, you will be supplied with the necessary credentials and the necessary accounts forms to submit for the gathering of such support. No one is supposed to make an appeal for the UNIA who is not authorized to do so, because it would mean trouble and fraud and would be unworthy of anyone who has secured these lessons. This method of approach must not be used for personal purposes, but only for the purposes of the UNIA. 7. One of the major ways of raising funds for the UNIA is by public meetings. Advertise for the UNIA to explain its objects and to speak on its general program. Such meetings may be arranged through the agency of divisions of the association, or an affiliated one, or through agents in a community. Where there is no branch of the association, these meetings can be arranged through friendly churches. In organizing such meetings, an agent should be appointed first. A place secured and a proper advertisement prepared and distributed in the community before the date of the meeting. In the community of 2,000 people, at least 1,000 handbills should be printed. In the community of 10,000 or more people, 2,000 or 3,000 handbills should be printed and widely distributed among the Negro population. All agents should be written to and asked to see that this is carried out, so that upon going to the places to address the meeting, you will not go where no one knows about it. Always word your handbills in the most attractive manner so as to create general interest among Negroes. You should mention that you are a graduate of the School of African Philosophy to suggest to the public that you have rare, uncommon knowledge of great importance. This will attract their curiosity. When speaking at such a meeting, you should be at your best on the subject that you are going to discuss. After you have made your speech, sit down for a couple of minutes. Then rise again and make your financial appeal. Unless you are addressing a division, don't make an appeal for money in the speech that you make, because people will think that you are only speaking for money. Immediately after the speech, get up and make another short speech for funds to support the organization. Always have your meetings well organized inside by arranging for ushers to take up the collection after you have asked for a special contribution, which should be brought up to a table immediately in front of the platform. After you have made the appeal for a special contribution of large amounts, then go get the ushers to take up the small contributions. Never ask for extraordinary amounts in special contributions. Consider the pockets of the people. You may ask for $5, $3, $2, or $1 from those who can give that much for such a cause. Then, after you have exhausted that, you may even ask for a special contribution of 50 cents, and then take up a collection from those who may not be able to give more than 25 cents or 10 cents. When you go into a strange community where the people are not members of the UNIA, make your first public meeting a meeting for obtaining members. All members who are to join must pay $1, 35 cents of which is the dues for the first month, 25 cents is the joining fee, 25 cents is for the constitution, and 15 cents is for the button and certificate. Each must be given a receipt for the dollar. Then the person's name, occupation, address, and age is registered in the book. If you have secured 7 more people as members, you have enough to start a division. After the meeting, call upon those who have joined to appoint a president, and then have them elect a vice president and treasurer and a secretary. Leave a constitution and tell them that they must control the organization in keeping with the Constitution. Tell them that they will be privileged to hold regular meetings, suggest twice a week, but particularly on Sundays at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Instruct them to work to secure more members, and then they can apply to the parent body for a charter, the cost of which is $25. Also tell them that they are privileged to collect money in their community from others who are sympathetic to the association to secure money for the charter. You should keep in constant touch with the secretary you have elected and find out when they are ready to apply for their charter. Then recommend that they contact the parent body for the charter. When they receive their charter, they should be advised to have a special meeting for the dedication of the charter. Then invite all the Negroes of the community to attend, at which time they should try to get more members for the association. If you remain in town the second night, call for members also and make an appeal for funds for the association. Always see that you secure your expenses and have money as a net to forward to the parent body whom you represent. If you remain in town for 1, 2, or 3 days to work up a division or to visit a division, you should take the time to interview all the potential members in the community to get financial support for the organization so that the expenses of the trip will not only be on the meeting, but on the community from whom you may get financial support. In getting people to join a division and elect officers, you should leave with them that portion of the first month dues that is the divisions, according to the constitutional law. Also leave them a portion of the proceeds to enable them to start out with something in their treasury. When setting up a new division, you should always advise them to rent a hall of their own where they will be able to hold their meetings without being disturbed. Suggest to them that they should not only depend on the regular monthly dues and the collections to support the division, but they should organize entertainment of an innocent nature, such as dances, concerts, beauty contests, popularity contests, or any kind of social event on a regular basis to help bear the cost of the rental of the place. You should explain to them that from the very beginning, the division must make a regular monthly report to the parent body. This is in accordance with the Constitution. You should point out to them and then mark those important sections of the Constitution that deal with the relationship between the division and the parent body. If you are a representative of the UNIA with credentials such as commissioner of a state, you should raise funds in the following ways for the parent body which you represent. Hold bazaars within the state, picnics, garden parties, concerts, or any general amusement that the public is accustomed to and would likely patronize for a cause. Flower days, rose days, tag days, or self-denial days. If these functions are to take in the entire state, then ask all friends of divisions within the state to cooperate. When these events are held within a special community, then ask all friends of the division in that particular community to cooperate. This must only be done with the previous arrangement with the parent body. A report to the parent body must accompany every such function. All these functions must be held in the name of the organization. You may also have groups of people in your jurisdiction organize house parties and give public entertainment for the benefit of the organization. Way to do this is to approach some responsible persons on the street or in the neighborhood and ask him to invite his friends to his house for the party. If possible, you should always be present, unless the person you have asked to have the party is a responsible and honest person who is in sympathy with the organization. If you arrange a tag day or a flower day, this should be of a private or organizational nature because if made public, it will be in conflict with certain municipal or state laws governing charities. These things are to be organized within the organization and among his friends. Not appoint members of the organization, such as units of the Black Cross nurses, to go into people's homes and offices and ask them to buy a tag or a flower to help this cause. Do not have them do it publicly on the streets, except in communities where you are privileged to do so. In organizing these things, always try to get interesting people to help you who will take part in these activities for the love of the cause and not for payment. You can arrange with churches in your jurisdiction to stage plays at their church hall, in the church, or on a percentage basis, and then go get local talent in your jurisdiction to contribute to the program free of cost. In this way, you will find yourself continuously active. After you have done this thoroughly for a year, you will become acquainted with all the parties, and it will then be very easy for you to do the same thing annually. In such work, let every minute count. But if you appreciate all this, you will have no time for idleness. As far as white people are concerned, we do not specialize in seeking contributions from them, but where you think it is wise to arrange lectures among them, revealing only the humanitarian part of the work, you may conduct such lectures and raise a collection or ask for help only on those humanitarian grounds. Do not commit yourself in any statement that will lead them to think that they could become members of your association or be affiliated with it or have any part in it. To do so would be a direct violation of the Constitution and against the association. This applies to individuals of the other races that you may ask to contribute to in any special fund. But wherever such contributions have been made, a record should be kept of the person's name and address, and the report should be given to the headquarters with remarks made to show the contributor's race for the purpose of guiding the parent body in communications with such persons, then and in the future. The School of African Philosophy, College Yale. We must win. We shall win. We will win. Yes, win, and win to win. You and I shall win to win for Africa. For Africa, we win. We must win. We shall win. We will win. Win, yes, win, and win to win. For Africa, we'll win to win. The creed of goodness. To pass the time in doing good, to count the evils we put down, to have our deeds so understood is nobler than to wear a crown. To bless the people as we go, to scatter seeds that grow to life, to strike all sin and a deadly blow is better than to stir up strife. But this of all is greater fame that none on earth can e'er destroy. By Marcus Garvey. And that is our 5-year plan.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Comments? Question?
Yes, that was, thank you. That was very interesting. It was well worked out. Very well worked out. That came out of the mind of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, huh? Or was it a group of people who put it together, or that came directly out of the mind of Marcus Garvey? Because he had every avenue. He dealt with everything, and it was very well done. Very well done. Very impressive. Glad you exposed it to me this evening.
Yes. And this was, I'm not sure who presented the motion originally. No, it was moved and properly second at the convention, the 34th convention, I believe.
Okay.
There's it right here at the top.
1934 convention.
1934 convention. 1834. 1934 convention. 18. But yes, 1934 convention. I'm not sure who it comes directly from him, or was it committee President John? I know it said it was moved and properly seconded, but
yeah, I'm not sure. We could probably refer to the minutes in the UNIA papers. It may detail a particular division, but to my knowledge, this came from Mr. Garvey himself.
Yeah. A tremendous strategy. He dotted every I and crossed every T. That's how you do it if you're going to do it. If that plan can work, if it's followed through,
So, and that's the purpose of introducing on this call, our business call. Do we have so many ideas on what we should do, what we want to do? But for me, I feel like our first order of business should be executing this plan. It goes with my motto: get money to do business, don't do business to get money. Getting it up front. In this plan, he talks about how raising these funds will help have the utility to do all of the different schemes and plans that we want to do. But we first have to have a capital base and the ability to do so. But any other comments? Or brother?
If I may,
Please.
the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used that plan also, because the Nation of Islam is structured very, very similar to that, But back in the day, we were instructed to go get the fish. We were fishermen, right? You go get the fish, and we would move into different towns and set up temples and things like that, and to get the people involved. Next thing you know, the people would take over, and that would spread to the college campuses and things. I worked up and down the Mid-Hudson Valley, and so we had to go into all these little towns. Since I came from one of those little towns, you start where you originate, and then you bloom. That's a very good idea. That plan works. Works. It's still going on. I still see the brothers out there. I don't know whether they go door to door like we used to do, but it was a door to door operation, and setting up businesses in the community there. We had the sausages and the bean pies and the things like that, and the fish, and the steaks at one time. But all that sort of, it's still going on, but maybe not at that same magnitude. But this is a plan that will work, because it has worked before,
Mm-hmm. Of course, we know that there's so many different leaders and organizations who have followed this blueprint, who have taken what Marcus Garvey did and are doing it. So many, but we have to do the same thing. And as I was reading this, I was thinking about other politicians on their campaign trail, and how they're going to these many cities. And we have to be politicians. That's what we are. We are here to address the political needs of our people. So we have to see ourselves as that. We have to go out, and like you said, door to door. So
yes. It works. It's a lot of work, though. It's a lot of work. I did it for about 8 years. Winter, summer, spring, and fall. Dropped off in different cities, and wherever we went, we would go out into the communities, and we would go early, especially if Minister Farrakhan was teaching upstate at Oneonta or something like that. He called it the ground force. We would arrive there very early with all the products. We'd go to the dormitories. We would get the people out, and that's in a college setting there. But in the towns, we would go in, we would meet with the preachers. We would set up connections with the brothers in the prison systems too up there, and so yeah, that work can be done, and it should be done. It's just that it's sort of in the 80s, 90s, and with technology, things sort of drifted into another. But anyway,
yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go next. Though, I'm glad right now we're in a different age where we do have technology, we do have the opportunity to reach people in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the messaging. What is our messaging? What are we saying as we reach people?
Right.
What are we putting out to people? We have the internet where we can get into so many doors at one time with one video, with one message, and it entering into so many homes. So we have to modernize this efforts around this plan, and that's what the goal is going forward, for us to come together and make a plan on how we as a division can move forward to execute this plan, what measures and means. He gave us so many different suggestions on how to do it, but we have to decide as a division on what means we're going to take, who can take what means, who can champion what means, so that we could be able to execute this plan for our people.
Yes, it's a great idea. It just needs the people. If the people just only knew. A lot of this is new to me too, because I'm basically familiar with the outer areas of the particulars. The 5-year plan, now that you read it, literally said, was like a great awakening, And I'm sure if our people would take the time to sit down and absorb these things, then it would become much more part of our daily lives, It's just that we're not exposed. Our people are just not exposed to this, We need more classes like this,
Yes. You have to bring our people in.
Yes. This broadcast should be about 50 or 100 people on this broadcast right now, or maybe 500, right? Because the information that you just read out is very inspiring, and it's just that we're not tuned in. How do we tune our people into this valuable information that's been around for such a long time, but it's like the best kept secret that's right in our face,
Yes. So all these are great questions, though, that we actually have to have an answer for. How do we tune our people into this information? And with the information being right in front of their face. So, I'm definitely one of the parts that I took from it was the events part. How to put together events. I mentioned before the financial fitness boot camp that the goal is to try to do something like that in starting January, where we are bringing people together and exposing them to what we're doing. I talked about the economic readiness plan on our meeting last week, and our goal is to let our people know that we have a plan and solution. He talked a lot about creating jobs for our people in the 5-year plan. Talked a lot about them having peace of mind that the jobs that we're going to create will be ones that are going to they will be able to access in the times where the white man are employing them. So just as solutions, this is the goal of what I know me in this office where we're working on staffing agency as an employer of last resort, credit union as a lender of last resort for our people. But it all starts with being able to have the funds to back our efforts. So if we could just focus our efforts on this first task, on going out and the people we have to organize the fund on how we're going to take in all the cash and donations. But he said there's 3 types of donors. There's financial donors. There is an active donor where one becomes a member, and then there's a moral donor with their support. We all have the ability right now to invite people to our meetings so that they can become active donors. I challenge all of us right now to at least invite 2 people to our next mass meeting. We can do that. That's one of the first orders of business that he have here that we all can do. And then as they come into our mass meetings, we have to continuously have solutions for the people on what we're doing. So that part we continuously work on going forward, but we all first can make the commitment to raising that capital, the active participants. And of course, if you can't get them active participants, at least let's make them moral supporters. And then the third phase that he asks us to focus on, the financial support, will come automatically for them becoming members. And then as we continuously host programs and events, they will start donating as well. So we all, of course, want to go out and help raise money. But I would like to just start with the first of getting that number 2, those active participants. Let's all focus on inviting 2 people to our mass meetings every week. And I feel like we can grow. Challenging myself, to do even more than that. But for me, I feel like we have to be organized and we have to have solutions for our people. And you don't want to bring people into an organization that doesn't have solutions or is not organized. Right. So I'm happy that we're continuously organizing. I'm hoping that we all can feel comfortable telling the people that we have a solution that we can offer. But we're all going to have people that's going to talk about this election. They're going to fear monger. But then it's going to open up an opportunity for all of us to say, hey, what we're doing over here is we're raising a fund for our people to be able to invest in all of the different things that's going to make sure that we have the quality of life that we deserve, regardless of who is in office. And it's called the UNIA-ACL. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but we have a mass meeting on this day. I would love to invite you to come in and see what we're doing, and just hear about it a little bit. And that could just be simply a speech. We want to make sure that in these uncertain times that you don't have to depend on anybody else. That there is an organization who is focused on the well-being of our people, and go from there.
So so right now the yearly dues is basically the only income that's streamed in the UNIA, or of course under the 5-year plan, people are taking out a subscription.
Yes.
So there's no subscription now. People to his ideas were they ever put into actual, I guess they were in practice back then. That's how we was able to buy the steamships and the
Mhm.
other things. But
Yes.
now it's just the dues that's carrying the organization. Oh, okay, all right, okay,
Right.
yeah.
So he had the dues, the subscription, and then he talked a lot about events.
Oh,
Uh,
events, okay.
a lot about events
Oh,
in that. So we know we can do those events. We know that we can increase members' subscription to raise our funds up, and I'm sorry, membership dues to raise our funds up. And hopefully, when they come in, that we have to first create a platform to where they can make those subscriptions. He gave us a
yeah,
blueprint on how to do it, but we can modernize it in a way to where it's completely transparent. Because right now, I think transparency is the key to getting our people to participate, because there's been so many different people who have took on this scheme, and maybe people may be uncomfortable, but
yeah. Yes, there's a brother with there's a Black Alliance Fund, I believe, brother Key Hodges. They're using a program like that too. They use that to buy the land with, which they secured. People have to have something in front, like the carrot in front, so they can see. Now they're raising money to build the first house, and there's all kinds of notations that you will receive for your contributions and stuff like that. And that's their fundraiser at this time. So you kind of have to have. I guess when Brother Marcus Garvey was around, there was a steamship that he put out there, and the people wanted to see that steamship or those steamships because he got quite a few of them. And that was a great incentive. So we're going to have to find an incentive. I guess unless I'm overlooking one or two, but an incentive will take you where you need to go. You'll get the people because the people have to see something,
Mhm.
And but there are people working with that idea, and it's just that here we have to develop something like that. I guess it's already in progress. It's just a matter of becoming more aware of it, and having it be much more visible, if I'm
Right.
correct.
Yeah, I agree totally that there has to be incentives, and incentives move people. One of the things that he mentioned is that the incentive that as we create these different businesses, as we get the funds in, we make the businesses, and these businesses are creating jobs for our people. Not only could these businesses create jobs, but we could set these businesses up where they're creating shared equity, where they have equal ownership in these businesses as well. They're basically beneficiaries. One of the things he said is that the assets should be held in trust for the
Right,
people.
right.
When we explain to them that they are beneficiaries of the assets that we
Yeah.
invest in, because we as an organization have committed to putting all of our assets in trust for the people. That's how we are moving.
Mm-hmm.
So we aren't about individual ownership. We're about collective ownership of all assets for the people. Um, so with that being said, that's an incentive that we can always lean on when we're talking about as we raise funds, where it's going to go. Where our funds are going is to assets and businesses that will be entrusted to benefit the people directly, and where they can share equity in those businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that that's the model that we should go forward with as we create the funds, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a great incentive to push as we talk to people.
Or even possibly a building fund. It's nice to have a location too,
Yes.
and people can see that also.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important, because I notice where I live now, there's different groups coming in from different parts of the world. First thing they do is get a piece of property, and they put their customer in there. They put their I guess their nativeness into the projects, and it becomes like a symbol of this is their their community.
Mm-hmm.
So we need something out front like that so that people will have a place. There's been other ideas. People have attempted to open up Us Lifting Us. I don't know. I know you're familiar with Us Lifting Us, right?
Yep.
Were you a member of Us Lifting Us? Yeah. Brother Hakima had an idea. This is a good idea and everything. But it's still in the process of being worked out too, because those things have to be kind of fine-tuned. It seemed like Brother Marcus Garvey back in the 20s was able to process information and to create this massive network, basically almost out of nothing. But wasn't out of nothing. It was the will of the people was much stronger. And you see, without a will, that's why I say up you mighty people, you can accomplish what you will. Without the will in the people, it's hard to get anything done, you know. But the people have to have that will, and that will comes from inspiration, you know. So the people need to be inspired about the great works of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, you know. So yeah, that's it's accomplished. It has to be accomplished. We're in a day and a time now. It's a necessity that for survival that we bring out and practice the principles that were given to us years ago. Well, down the line, because what we have now is a growth. You know, each organization builds on the other structures. Like out of Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Nation of Islam, and there's all these other groups out there. The only problem is that they haven't come together into their sinews in the body and their limbs on the body, but they haven't come into one whereby we can feel the power of unity, you know. But anyway, we're on the road. We're on the right road. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for that presentation.
You're welcome. Yes, I mean, we are the vehicle to unite all of these organizations. Is what I feel.
Yes.
We are the umbrella. So, but we have to organize ourselves and.
True. That's the key.
Yes. Anybody? Yes. Any other comments, questions, concerns?
Yes.
Yes.
So, I've been tossing around a plan that kind of works in line with the 5-year plan. And the plan is incentivized. It has built-in incentives. And because of the way the incentive would work, the membership would be automatic. It'll be like a no-brainer to get other members. And then part of it would involve projects in the US, projects abroad. Africa would be great, but at least start locally. And then these business projects could be put into a trust as you have described, but ultimately the projects would have to be handled responsibly. You know, where the money goes basically would have to be handled responsibly. And if it's a trust, then so be it, you know. And then part of the incentive would be a residual for all the contributors. And of course, all the projects, businesses, what have you, would be owned by all the people. Another twist I had, though, was that it wasn't just for UNIA members. It was just going to be for all Black organizations that are local and worldwide, including UNIA members. And that part of it can be tweaked, but that's just kind of what I've been resonating on. And it's not complete. It's still kind of in my head mostly, and some of it is unwritten down. But yeah, it's the closest thing in my head to what the 5-year plan is, but just with a twist. Because with the Black Star Line steamship and all the other companies that were established by Marcus Garvey, he didn't have to convince anybody. I mean, the ship's there, you know, it's something grand and majestic, and it's done by the race. And so that's how I think it needs to be, because otherwise, you know, members will come on and do their thing and show up, and it would dwindle after a while. But if you have some kind of highly incentivized thing to keep the people in force, and then they see the results from all the businesses that we're able to create from their contributions, for the most part, I think it'll make sense. But so that's my twist. It wouldn't be like just UNIA. It would be for other Black organizations, and all the projects will benefit everybody, benefit the motherland. It's kind of, you know, grand, but of course starting out small. So that's kind of my twist without going into too many details.
I believe with this election, May 1st, I believe with this election, Lady President, our people were looking for a grand plan. They were looking for it from, these other institutional people. But I think if your, in my opinion, if your plan is grand, we talked about it, talked about a little bit before, the plan, but
We
let's
touched on it lightly, but
yeah, let's flush it out and let's
yeah.
put it all together. I believe in it. Yeah.
I have a question, Omasius.
Yeah.
Any businesses we build, will we own them or would the parent body own
Um, that caused confusion and
Well,
and who
I have a solution for that.
go ahead, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why it wouldn't just be owned by UNIA members. It would be owned by all Black people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I saw to solve that issue. But I mean, when something is only at the foundational level, it doesn't mean it's carved in stone. It means it can be tweaked. So it's open to tweakness. But that's how I saw solving that problem where it's just owned by Black people, period. Black people in the diaspora, Black people on the continent. But, it's going to start with one project and build to other projects. I don't know if we're ever gonna create another shipping line for cruising and whatever, but nothing, the sky's the limit if it works the way I'm thinking. But yeah.
Okay, so um, when thinking about ourselves as a government, and also thinking about our people having a quality of life, um, I feel like it's important for us to look at collective ownership. I feel like if I own 4 businesses myself, I could try to get each one of them to $1 million. But if I had a portion of ownership of all of the businesses that are within the network, I probably could reach multiple millions if I'm even just getting 100,000 from each one. So when it comes to leverage of ownership towards my net worth and my quality of life, how does my ownership percentage affect my quality of life? I feel like the ownership of businesses within every state, and every neck of the woods that the UNIA is, even if it's just a small percentage of that, would create a higher quality of life for me than just owning the businesses that are local to me. So I feel like there should be a central fund that has that all of the businesses should be put in trust, and the value of all of the collective businesses, by us being beneficiaries of that trust, not owners, but beneficiaries of that trust, we are able to share in the collective value of all of the businesses that trust owns. For me, I feel like we will have the opportunity to have ownership in more businesses if there's a national program, uh, a regional program, which all these are trusts, national trust, a regional trust, statewide trust, divisional trust, and then ultimately the smallest version, would be family trust and individual trust. So in trust, we're only talking about beneficiaries, not ownership. It changes the whole mindset of what we're talking about when we're thinking about ownership. I feel like we have to build an economy, not businesses. And I feel like as government, We have to be focused on building an economy that our people can feel comfortable with leaving this institution that has their emotions wrapped up in it. They have their peace of mind wrapped up in them building for themselves. Our job and our energy, I believe, should be focused on building an economy. I call it the universal economy. And pulling, of course, from the Universal Negro Improvement Association, but I feel like it's an economy where we share assets globally. We all have access to the total value, and we're able to leverage that value, that ownership of all of those things in our portfolio. We have a portfolio filled with every company that is owned by the entire UNIA, no matter what state, country, jurisdiction it's in, because of our us being beneficiaries of the parents' body's trust, the central trust, the central fund, the central credit union. I have a document that explains the benefits of this a little bit further that we will be discussing. For me, I feel like an economy is a group of pillars that work together to circulate the energy of us all, the gifts of us all, to give us a higher quality of life. So by focusing on us all having ownership of the economy, not the businesses within it, I feel like it's going to help us all have a high quality of life. I'm not giving you a long answer, but just to help, just to break it all down on.
Yeah, I see. But we would have to build the trust network first, wouldn't we?
Yes, it's the most important part is for us to get the trust registered, get the commitment. And that's why, I mean, honestly, personally, I'm want to get go through the Minister of Labor and Industries to get him to assist and help him get started with the national trust, and that be like Marcus Garvey said, the money should go to the parent body, and to create ways where that trust is executed in a way that's going to benefit everybody. The suggestion right now is that central trust be a vehicle that's focused on investing in family trust through the divisions, where that trust would invest in the division, and the divisions would disseminate those funds through member-owned co-ops, whatever we want to as a division to benefit from, and then our family trust will be the beneficiaries of the division. So that is right now how we would set it up right now from all the research that I've done so far, that it will be a parent body trust that basically operates as a central bank. Then divisions would operate as a central bank that invest in the business ideas of us who are within the family.
Okay. How would the Faka Rock fit into that?
So I'm going to share my screen here with that being said. All right. So for us, I think our focus is going to be on industries. And that just happened to be one of the first ones. I feel like we have to be a fully integrated cooperative ecosystem that we have to build. And one of the first industries that we have to have, we'll go through the industries first, and I'm going to answer that question, is agriculture and food. We got housing and retail, health and wellness, education, energy, technology, communication, finance and banking, manufacturing, transportation, retail and commerce, entertainment and media, legal services, environmental sustainability, textiles and apparel, tourism, hospitality, construction, infrastructure, retail, trade, commerce, arts and culture, water and sanitation, community service, cooperative governance and administration, and more. But I want to show this because we have to be in every industry for our people to make sure that we are providing the necessary tools and resources to the highest quality of life for our people. So when it comes to this first one, agriculture and food, we have a organization that has the desire to position themselves as a central focus for the distribution of food to restaurants and individuals. called the Factor Rock. As you can see at the bottom of that is grocery co-ops and distribution channels. It's one of the things that we have to have: sustainable farming, agriculture, food processing, and preservation. But that would fall into that category. I said all that to say is our job is to find as many businesses in all of these categories who would commit to giving a portion of their income to the fund. Our job is to go to these businesses and hold them accountable to do so the same way Marcus Garvey asked us to do with preachers, lawyers, doctors. The businessmen were on that list. So Factor Rock, in my opinion, will be one of the businesses that we need to approach to get them to make that commitment to donating to this fund. And when those businesses donate to the fund, I believe that our next step should be to donate to the business. In co-ops, you donate to the business through your time and your energy by volunteering in certain times. That helps reduce labor costs, and those costs could be aggregated towards marketing, investment, or whatever. The second way you invest your time and energy is through purchasing and whatever and all that kind of stuff. But we need to get them to make that commitment officially on the record. Factor Rock, as an organization, has committed some funds to developing the international headquarters, and I believe that they made that pledge and they committed to that pledge. But I wanted to give a microcosm and a macrocosm approach to answering that question. We have to have the golden mindset to get all of the businesses within the industry that's Black to commit to that fund. And Factor Rock right now, I believe, is the easiest bait to get the first business to commit. I hope to answer the question.
Yeah, okay.
So it sounds like there's more questions in there.
Excuse me.
It was, but I'm gonna leave it alone right now.
I go ahead.
Because I was thinking that since there's only one Factor Rock, would every division have to set up a Factor Rock first?
So,
or
Johnny, what's up, baby? That you? I thought it was.
I was saying
What's that?
I thought you was about to. Who's that?
that was Sister Miss Diane.
Okay.
Yes. So I like the line and it's the way of reasoning and stuff like that, and I think we're definitely onto something. But part of what I was thinking is that it'll be probably better to do our own business instead of aligning with business that exists already. Supporting business that exists already could be one of the things that we do, but whether we're setting it up so that we're beneficiaries or owner, I'm thinking these should be our business that are set up in a manner so that they'll go to the next generation. And then we also have them set up so that there's a way to incentivize all the owners while the businesses are being profitable. I mean, we could have a very intricate network of businesses that are providing funds, monies from whenever there's like in the form of profit share to the members, but at the same time employing the people that are running the business, and at the same time leaving the businesses in place for the next generation so that they'll always be there. And so everything is good, but how we put it together could be a really strong network of businesses where everybody is engaging in a profit share, where the businesses are going to continue to the next generation, and to involve all Black people. That's why I was saying we definitely want to have a big arm of it being people that are in the UNIA, but it may not necessarily, in my planning, it may not necessarily be all UNIA people, because there are a lot of strong Black organizations out there that are not necessarily UNIA, but UNIA could be a huge part of it, because it started by UNIA people. We get involved, get all the UNIA divisions involved, and then we branch out. And, branching out may not involve everybody who's UNIA people, even though we're going to sign up as many people as we want to, as we, you know. So, yeah, all the ideas are great, and I think they all could be worked in. But yeah, the most important part, I think, is it doesn't necessarily have to be ownership. It could be the beneficiary uh, situation that's willable. The people that are participating engage in profit share. The business is still stay in place. We got people running the various businesses based on their experience, expertise, and you know, it's going to be well incentivized. That's all I have. Race first.
Brother Orman.
FACARAC. How do you spell that?
FACAROC is the Federation of African, Caribbean, and American Restaurant Owners Coalition.
Okay. Is there a website for them?
Their Instagram is stronger than from what I always research. I don't find a website. I'll try to pull it up really quickly.
Okay, FACARAC, huh? Okay.
So FACARAC, for anybody who does not know, our President General started FACARAC. I'm not sure how many years ago it was now. I remember when he first started though. Quite some time ago. FACARAC would be kind of like a restaurant depot for our people.
Yes.
Has ever been there before, Restaurant Depot, but most of our right now, I think that's owned by Jethro Holding Company, and I always say that's actually a true company. But I was a restaurant owner in Atlanta for a while, and that's where I went and shopped at Restaurant Depot, and like I said, that's a Jewish-owned company. But it has a kind of a monopoly. There's so many Black-owned businesses in Atlanta, restaurant owners, and I would see them all every morning. I knew most of them because we all meet at Restaurant Depot in the morning, talk about how business is going. But I just would see how many Black people are giving their money to this company every year. So our President General, who also has, at the time, had one restaurant in New York. I think now he has 3 restaurants in New York. I'm sure he also saw his problem as well. So he decided to open up FACARAC. He did it individually at first. He opened up stock to the membership, and he did a tour. Went around to different divisions and trying to raise money. Came to Atlanta. We hosted an event down here. I was at that event. Came to Atlanta, and he was raising money for FACARAC. I have it up here. I'm sharing the screen here now, so everybody can see it. But it is our own Restaurant Depot, and I say our own. It's my opinion that the President General built this for us.
Yeah, I heard the President General. That was at the convention at the Omanelli Grill Center.
Yeah.
Was that when he presented FACARAC?
Yes.
That's when he presented FACARAC.
Yes.
Okay.
FACARAC.
Okay. Yeah, I was there. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Go ahead.
Now, there's been a lot of contention around it, whether this is UNIA business or not. Should it be promoted in UNIA meetings? What for my the Sister Diane's sentiment about us having our own businesses versus those that already exist, I agree that we should definitely be doing both. Creating our own where we have that 100% ownership and that 30%, which I believe is the number that we should go and approach any of these businesses for to get to those funds. I believe that it will take an X amount of time. I won't say how much time to build 1 business, 2 business, 3 businesses, 4, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 or more. But I believe that the time it takes to go out and find businesses that already exist and getting them to donate that 30%, we may get that a little faster than it takes to build all of our businesses up to the point where it's bringing in the amount of revenue that's possible by connecting with those that already exist. It's my opinion. But I definitely agree that we should be in the raising funds for the development and creation of our businesses that are 100% owned by our membership. But I do see also the benefit of going out and basically acquiring a small percentage, that 30% ownership of businesses that already exist.
Yeah, that way you'll have a diversified. If you start out with investing in Thackeray, that would be a foundation stone while you're working on yours, right? On our own. And you'll be supporting. I think President Duncan said that he contributes quite a bit. Thackeray contributes quite a bit to the main headquarters up in Philadelphia, and that he was going to volunteer. His organization was going to volunteer just to restore the building, but there's some issue came up and it never got, and so he was sort of out of it. But he said it would have been done now. I don't know whether it probably might have. I don't know the internal workings, but I heard him when he said that. So yeah, it's a benefit when you have something up and running already rather than trying to build from scratch, because there's a lot of initial growing pains you have to do to get where he is now. But if he, as he says, if he benefits the UNIA, it's a tremendous benefit, not only him being president, but him being a constructor. He's doing basically what Marcus Garvey was actually talking about, which is building up business and hiring people in the community and expanding, and even making jobs for people within the UNIA, because I'm certain that people in the UNIA probably work there or affiliated. Yeah, so that's what
electing him the president.
so he's a good example of what a president should be doing, And not all presidents are going to be able to do that, but he's in a pretty unique spot, and I think he's in Brooklyn or in Queens. Well, a lot of Caribbean people in Brooklyn and Queens. He has a lot of clientele out there. We have a brother down here opened up a store there. He doesn't get much business. Matter of fact, I haven't even been in there. I think I'm going to go in there tomorrow. He's been open for a while, right near Creflo Dollar's church. It's a Caribbean store, and it's like Baccarat, I guess. There was a Caribbean store there before, then it became something else, but now it's back again. And I'll go in there tomorrow just to see. But he doesn't have much business there because it's sort of on an old national highway. And getting in and out of there is a little difficult. Now, I guess if members of that church across the street patronize that, if they bought it and patronized, I'm sure it would do good business. But people who are going out of the way, probably won't go out of their way to patronize that business because of the location, It's like when we had the Brother Akima had the restaurant up there. That was a good idea and a nice place, but it was a very poor location. I guess location is very important. But yeah, brother Duncan, President Duncan is a good example of as far as I can see, of what we're supposed to be doing, and is willing to put back into that organization, it sounds very positive. Now, as I say, I don't know the inner workings, but from the outside, it looks good.
I would say this to answer finally the question that you asked earlier about us expanding Thacker Rocks. I do have a proposal on doing that already typed up on us investing and expanding in Thacker Rocks. I believe that, like you said, that commitment has been made and that desire is there to expand Thacker Rock into all the cities around the world. And yes, there may be already ownership of that one already, but if we take up the mantle in opening those others, then that ownership percentage could possibly change. The type of businesses, those could be cooperative ones that we expand them to, but our people need to not be going to the Jews to buy groceries. And we have a solution that's already out there, that's already running. And so I feel like it only makes sense to get behind our president general and make this our business. It's not already. Make it our business. Let's figure out how we got to do it.
What about franchising it? Is he interested in franchising?
I believe that my belief, I don't know, it hasn't been presented to him yet, but from how he's talking, I believe that if our division was to find a building that is a warehouse, and like that is, and approach him that we could have a franchise in our first business where we have our first grocery store. And I believe that they would put up some money to help us do that. It's just me. It hasn't been that's where the approach was basically going with the proposal, is that we focus on finding a warehouse and expanding what's already exists, and of course our division owning it, having stewardship and trustee management over that business. So I don't know how we got to that, but it's one that already exists.
And so online, and when you look it up, it's on the factrock.com.
I looked up on Facebook.
Could you put it in the chat?
Let me yeah.
I don't want to take up too much time here. Somebody else said, I'm going to lower my hand here.
Okay.
Could you put it in the chat? How we can? I'm
making sure that we have.
I think it's on the UNIA website too.
Oh, it's on the UNIA. Okay.
We have a website. I mean, a page of Fuck Rock on there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, brother.
I'm about to put that was in the chat. It's at our UNIA./ACLgovernment.com. It's on there. I'm gonna share that, but I always find them on Facebook. So I'll copy this link and put it in the chat. Oh, he already got it. Thank you, President John. That's quick.
Brother John. Go ahead, Brother
John. But yes, the ultimate focus, though, yes, specific businesses that we can invest in are very important. Partnering with other businesses are very important. But having the funds and means to do whatever we want is super important too.
That's my part.
And what do we want? What exactly do we want to do?
So whether it's an existing business like the Fakarak, which only makes sense, as Brother Macy has pointed out, or whether it's brand new, there's going to be opportunities for those too. All of it's going to require funding. So the part of it that I was talking about, where the members are incentivized, that will allow us to branch out into projects and things of that nature, that's where the part that I'm talking about comes in. So I think that, we're all on the right track. And we can create something grand, but, it just has to be fine-tuned. And we have to fine-tune everything about it. Who's going to be responsible for the various businesses and the tracking of the businesses, the residual for the contributors, the projects that are owned by all the members, whether they're franchise like the Fakarak or owned with another company, or brand new. And then also the other part, of course, is going to be to where we are going to solicit other businesses, maybe Black-owned businesses that may not be a part of the whole thing, but get them involved by getting them to make contributions, which will automatically make them members as well. So, yeah, it can work. Race first.
Well, but I wanted to answer your question real quick. What are we going to do? I feel like that what we're going to do should be everything that is needed for the enhancement of the quality of life of our people. And this list right here was intended to be, what is it? Intended to be a list of those areas that could possibly focus on an ecosystem. And I see, President John. How a fund works is that you have your managing directors of each area. So there will be a managing director who's over agriculture and food, a managing director who's over housing and real estate, a managing director who's over health and wellness. Their main jobs is to analyze different businesses that we are going to invest our time and energy in or create to make sure that those businesses fit our model. So once we have those managing directors in place and a measuring metrics in place that we would weigh the opportunities against, then we are able to operate the fund effectively, invest in the business that benefit us. All those managers they have on their team, normally they have analysts on their team under them who analyze different businesses, find different businesses, search for them that we will be investing in. But the goal, though, is to be in every industry, because we are, like I said, we should be focused on building an economy more than we're focused on building individual businesses, because we are a government. President John, sorry, you saw your hand up.
Yeah. Again, well, you brought up another question in my mind, but just in regards to economy scale, I think would be something to be conscious of. But what was my original question? My original question slipped my mind. Give me a moment.
I'm sorry.
I got it. It wasn't a question. It was more so a statement of not concern or anything, but something for us to be aware of. If we are going to the leadership and asking for some support to develop a program, when we speak of like having a local FACA we do have to be prepared to answer the questions of managing the facility. You know, if they ask, have we done this before? But yeah, if we are questioned on the request for those resources, we have to be prepared to answer those questions. Where I'm going.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, me personally, what came to my mind when you said that was what man has done, man can do.
That's right.
This is
That's
not.
right. Go hire those people.
I don't necessarily have a lot of experience in running these a grocery store specifically, but I have, there's many blueprints to do everything, and I'm pretty sure that I would go
You can hire black people who have
right.
the experience.
I would go is to focus on the blueprint that's already been set and put forth already on what's already succeeding, and just figure out how we can build on that to make it succeed a little bit better. Not to reinvent any wheels or do it any better, but hopefully there's a blueprint that we can follow. I'm sure it's one out there, and we all can follow blueprints.
May I?
Go ahead.
Brother Hakima, with us lifting us, they're doing the exact same thing that you're doing now, but they're doing it, they're laying out. First of all, us lifting us started out, but a lot of the legalities and the organizational structure and all those things that's necessary in order to grow and be protected while you're growing weren't quite worked out. So that level stopped, but the idea and the concepts continue. Now they've worked out I would say a scheme or a plot or a plan that's very similar to one that you're speaking of now, that's all well-structured stuff. I don't know. I know we have our own thing, but it would be nice to cross-pollinate a little bit, maybe check in at something, because they have these meetings regularly too. I'm not that we should have to, because we can borrow from each other, because we can grow together, and that's a part of building the brotherhood a little stronger too. But a lot of their ideas, I think, could be very, very useful, and what we're trying to structure ourselves to do now. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. It's in the atmosphere.
Well, to speak to that, because sometimes I think about a lot as well. I think about states a lot when I think about these other organizations. And for me, first of all, state is a state of mind. It's an ideology. So these organizations may have different ideologies, but for me, they just represent a different state within our government. And it's up for our job to have United States, to be able to unite these organizations under one umbrella. My saying is that organisms organize, create organizations. Our people are already organized in many organizations. Our only job now is to organize the organizations. That's my motto. So I believe organizations like Us Living Us, Black Achievement Fund, all these others, a fund is a fund of funds. It could be many funds under one fund. And I feel like just as we say, our job is to go out and get businesses. We have to go out and get other Black-owned funds to come together and show them how, by leveraging with other funds, we are able to. If you have $10 million, I have $10 million, and we come together, now we both have $20 million on paper. In a sense, we have $40 million, bringing our 10 and 10 together. Because you're able to leverage the 20 that we have. I'm able to leverage the 20 that we have. We are accustomed to making money, but we have to learn how to create money out of thin air with things like fractional reserve banking, and things like that, what we'll get into. But there's ways to multiply your money through accounting. But that first starts, with growing your treasury. And if they have a treasury, we have a treasury, we come together, we all can leverage our treasuries to go access more fiat capital, to invest in other assets that's going to enhance our GDP as a nation, our gross domestic product, or whatever our assets.
Yes, but I was basically thinking that mixing treasuries that's kind of gets more complicated. But I was just thinking about ideas and concepts and techniques that one might see that the other one might see, or the cross-pollination, of just, and not only that, but just creating a brotherhood, I think will work out too, without having to collapse what you're doing or they collapse what they're doing. And maybe at one time you could, after you grow to a certain point, you might want to become one, but as you're growing, you need all hands on deck, so wherever you can find the input that you need to get you to the next level is very important too,
Right. And when organizations come together under one fund, that's why I wanted to try to put the states kind of analogy out there, because those states still have their same charter, they still have their same ideology, they still have their same leadership. All these states just came together under a totally different umbrella, but it's just a bunch of individuals working together under the whole. So I guess what I meant was kind of creating one treasury that is the umbrella treasury, and we all kind of working together in that sense. But
yeah, that gets very complicated. But I just meant just an idea. Keeping both organizations can function independently, autonomously, until they decide to do that at a later date. But at an early stage, hey, let me look at this idea. Because you always have to be open for information, because even though you have a plan, but you can always fine tune the plan with additional information that you can garner from just being open and receiving, and looking around and enhancing what you have off maybe an oversight that you might have had, or maybe they might have had. They could possibly learn from you, or eventually, because what we have is a government. What they have, as you point out, is a group. But the government always what's the term I'm looking for now? But the government always have precedent over the smaller entities, because what the Honorable Marcus Garvey laid out is so structured they can function internationally, they can function nationally. But these other groups, they're thinking about a business as opposed to a government. And I can see where the problem not a problem, but how there might be some hesitancy there. But as long as everybody understands where one's going and stay focused, you take what you need, and you, as the Ray Hagan say, you eat the fish and you spit out the bones, so to speak. But anyway, it's a good idea. That sounds very interesting. How far along are you? Are you structured?
I'm pretty struck. I have a lot of different documents that we're going to be kind of rolling out here on how to operate an economy.
Go ahead, brother.
From pretty much this is going to be a good one on how to distribute funds through using IULs. One of the things, my main focus is that as an organization, we have to be focused on organizing pillars that will assist our people overall, but then we have to look at how individuals can accept and assist themselves. In the Financial Fitness Bootcamp, one of the things that I'll be presenting is a self-reparations toolkit that helps each individual position themselves to be active participants in the economy, as well. That goes to different foundation of self, financial independence, career, and entrepreneurship, uh, community connection, legal protection, health and wellness, asset protection. It has so much that we're going to be touching on in this at that financial fitness boot camp. But that's on a personal economy. But as an organization, we have to have pillars in place. And like I said, some of the pillars is our staffing agency, our own credit system, um, how to lend, how to distribute funds, how to be in beneficiary position that's going to last generational through our own stock market. So for me, I think about the pillars and how we can have each individual pillar in place to be able to execute our economy. And I've been working a while on this, and I'm excited about presenting it in these next couple of weeks.
That's good. So you have a schedule for when you're going to present it? Excuse me for interrupting.
Yes, I mean every Thursday, I'm trying to break out a little bit more. Next week, I wanted to talk about how the fund could be used as a central bank to invest in the different businesses and how that's going to work in a sense. But that will start off by how to run the fund. Let's see. I don't have all my Google accounts on this computer, but I have a different document on it. We get the breakdown of what a managing director is, how to operate as a managing director, how each one of us could be that, how to be an analyst, how to analyze businesses as they come in. So, as government agents who are responsible for the economic readiness of our people, we have to increase our knowledge, on how to run an economy. So there's a lot of information that needs to be consumed in a short time. But the ultimate focus is that we have to believe that we're the solution for our people, and we have to let them know that we believe that so that they can get involved. And then our job is to attract even more people who have ideas that they can bring to the table, and so that we can execute this to a higher level. We want to find people who are proficient in agriculture, even more than I am, who are proficient in real estate, who are proficient in health and wellness, who are proficient in education. But my goal is to build the foundation, and then hopefully it'll be a place where those people can come in. And the foundation is being built already. I'm just trying to add my youth and modernization to what my ancestors have been working on for all this time. So that's the goal going forward, is to build our own economy, but start marketing to our people that that's what we're doing, because right now our people need that peace of mind, they need that confidence, and they need to feel confident with no longer focusing on this government as their savior, but knowing that we're here.
Race first. Yeah, this fits into the 5-year, Marcus Garvey's 5-year plan, whereby we actually develop these things in the community, and be organized enough to organize these things, because the 5-year plan is a very organized plan, and you need people who are capable with that level of organization to bring it about, not just going out and even the finesse that it takes just to communicate with people, just to spot people who can help build the organization and present it in a light that comes along with the enthusiasm that you bring with you when you're talking with people. But to financially be able to harness the money that's in the community. And this is one of the ways, what you're talking about now is one of the ways to harness the money that is in our community. Mm-hmm. Because the dollar goes through our community very rapidly. I think it's called the high velocity dollar. And it's kind of technical. I'm going to sit in on all your classes and see, and learn more, because I need to know this too. at this late stage, even though I've had my own business before. But a lot of these things are very interesting. And you're talking about the different products that go into that are in the financial world that we need to know about just for everyday life in our family business in our homes. To operate your home, you need to have some financial knowledge, of how to make ends meet, as the old people used to say. And a lot of this stuff is and even if you accidentally run up on some money, you need to know how to handle that money and use that money to grow some money, and which is what you're talking about. Having money develop work for you, and all that needs to be known, and it's very, very important to help to get the work done. So it's very interesting, and the 5-year plan is a very important one, especially putting aside getting people to contribute on a regular basis that you can count on. A subscription that the organization can bank on. Like most churches run off of that because that's why you have to submit your tax papers to the churches so that they can. That's the foundation of the. When you go to the bank, if you got people who are paying their dues regularly, that's a part of the foundation that you can get more money with. Because when they see that, they know that's a foundation in which you can build on. So that subscription thing is very, very important. I guess as Ross Martin said, just to get the people to pay the dues. If you had 3,000 members, and if everybody paid the dues regularly, that's a whole lot of money. I was here what Brother Ross was talking about, and even in the products that we have there, the shirts and the articles that are at our disposal to sell, is a means of making money also for the organization. But bringing in people, as we used to say, the coin is in the fish's mouth, So bringing in people is the key too. Multiplying numbers is a basic math method of growing a business, So as you said earlier, if we can just bring 1 or 2 or 3 people who are to join, make a pledge of bringing a certain amount of people, and to watch the organization grow, then you can count the corpus at the end of the year, and you'll find that they'll be growing because the people are actually paying their dues, not only just having a membership, but paying dues also. Because right now, that's the main means of a foundation for the income flow into the nation. All right, race first. Pardon me for running on.
Race first. So back to the fish. The coin, if I like that coin, the coin's in the fish's mouth.
Elijah Muhammad.
We're out to get the people. I think that's our first mandate so far. He talked about it. He called those active participants. So you have the financial participants, active participants, and moral participants are the 3 participants that Marcus Garvey talked about within our 5-year plan. Those active participants are the people, and our people just happen to be looking for incentives. Building the economy is, for me, economics is the science of energy connected to produce assets that are going to provide for that community, that person. Energy connected is all about people, and we have to remove resistance for people to work together. And that's what the system does. It charges us to show interest in what the other person's doing. So it's our goal to get people interested in what we're doing, so they can know that we're working for a collective goal. I wanted to just go over the 5-year plan today. As far as how the ecosystems work, it's a lot of parts that come together when we're talking about connecting our energy to produce assets that's going to help all of our lives be the best version of our life that it could be. I'm posing it all, developing it all, been working on it for a long, long time, years and years, on this focus, because I don't know, I feel like this day was coming where we would have, people would have to depend on ourselves, and we have to be ready though. And if we don't have anything in place that's going to be cohesive, And because we've seen businesses, we've seen funds, we've seen a lot of different things, but we still seeing our people in the same position that they are. Um, so the question every day is what uh, are the things that our people need? How accessible are those things? And how can we distribute it on a mass scale where it will have the highest impact on society as a whole? So we working, but I feel like if we uh, position ourselves as an economy, it will have a viral effect on the marketing side that we need to be able to go around and the best marketing message that I could come in my is that we are the first abundance based economy that's built off of the confidence of the people working together. Um, so I feel like um, the next couple of weeks, for we have to be economically ready. I feel like economy is also a war strategy. So we have to put ourselves in boot camp. We have to put ourselves and transform ourselves by the renewing of our minds. On the greatest form of oppression is information oppression. This system is actually set up where we can win if we know how to use it.
Right.
It's no longer set up where it's focused on the color of your skin. It's focused more so on your profile now, because now you can not be seen and get access to funds through the internet in different ways. So they have different ways to discriminate, but our focus is to go to the storehouse, gather the resources to bring them back to our storehouse so that we can grow them and cultivate them and be able to no longer need that storehouse and have our own. So it's 10 o'clock, 10:05. I will open the floor for additional comments, but I don't want to continue to hold y'all too long. That's the main focus of this was to get us, hopefully ground us, because I know I have been all over the place personally that I think about so much, but I wanted to just start with the basics so that we can get some momentum going. And I feel like the first thing we can start with, the first charge, is to everybody invite 2 members and to the mass meeting. And even if, and then hopefully from the mass meeting, they can come to these meetings and we can show them the plan that we have to develop an economy for our people. And I feel like if we use that marketing approach, that we are building our own economy with our own central fund, with our own ideas on how to distribute those funds, on how to grow those funds through businesses. That's going to benefit the people. If we centralize and our message, I feel like we can grow. And when those people come in and come to those meetings, we'll have the retention that we need to create the momentum to impact communities. So that's all I have. Any other comments, questions before we move to close?
So next week, what will you be speaking on next week?
We're going to talk about how the fund could be a central bank for our people. And because I'm gonna be honest, there was a commitment to start a bank by our parent body, and I think that was about 2 years ago. I believe that our fund could be the central bank. And once we get this developed, we'll be able to present it to our parent body and say, "Hey, we have a blueprint on how to operate this fund." And I think that we would like to be an example of how what they call it, proof of concept. By you investing in us, we would like to operate it. So every fund has trustees, has managing directors. So it's up to us to recruit people or become those people who will manage an area of the fund. If you have a person who's managing the stock, person who's managing the retail, person who's managing the housing part. So we'll talk about how this could be a central fund and the different job titles in a fund next week. And so that we can start positioning ourselves and get that fund registered to start bringing in those money.
Race first.
Race first, Brother Ross Marvin.
Yes. Thank you, First VP, Brother Amacius, for enlightening us more upon the 5-year plan. I had a question and a couple comments. The question that I have, other than dues paying members and events. Are you aware of, in this century, anybody using those things you was reading on how to get funds to build a division or to build a government?
You said other than the events and dues paying members?
Right.
I think the other one was moral support.
As you
The dance.
mentioned, go to the lawyers, doctors, professionals. I'm
Mhm.
saying, are you aware of in this century any division or even the parent body using any of those methods that you was mentioning to generate funds in this century?
I'm not aware specifically because I'm not aware of how any other funds raise their money. I haven't been a part of any of them or studied them to know how they actually what approach they're taking. Of course, we don't have a fund. We haven't been operating our investment fund. We have a charitable fund, and of course, we approach who we can. But other than that, I'm not aware
Oh,
of.
because I'm questioning if the 5-year plan, to me, it sounds ideal and perfect when we did have over 10 million members. Is like it can automatically work. But today, in today's UNIA, in the whole government, my estimation is that we don't even have 500 active members in throughout the whole government. And I don't know how the 5-year plan would work at the stage that we're at. But anyway, that's just my perspective. What I wanted to bring to our attention, because Fakarak was mentioned, and I don't know if everybody's familiar with the history of Fakarak inside of our government. It was introduced to our government in 2016 when the President General became the President General and introduced Fakarak. But there's been conversations going back and forth in support and things of questioning. And one of the main issues of questioning came from the Constitution, and that was from Article 3 in the Constitution, Section 41. And I'll read it. It says, no selling of stocks or shares, Section 41. No officer or member of a division shall be allowed to sell private stocks or solicit shares for any individual or private company at a meeting of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Community Leagues. That was the issue that was brought up from 2016 because Baccarat does not belong to the UNIA and it belongs to the members of the restaurant corporation who's part of it and the stock investors who invest in shares into the Baccarat. And so that has always been a debate back and forth. Are we violating the Constitution when Fakarak is asking us to buy shares? Because in the Constitution, it says that the UNI meeting can't be used to raise stocks, purchase stocks of private entities that doesn't belong to the UNIA. But I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention because we got to be aware of the history of the discussion of Fakarak and when it comes to the Constitution. But the Constitution to me is contradictory because if you read the next section, Section 42, investment by division, it says divisions or societies of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Community League may invest their money in self-owned businesses of any description upon the approval of the parent body. So to me, in the Constitution, Section 41 and Section 42 is like contradictory to each other because 141 says you can't invest in private stocks and 42 says you can. So, it's crazy. That's where our government. I don't know if anybody had recognized that in the Constitution, but to me, it's it says first you can't, and then it says second you can. So I don't know where it stands. And the other comment that I had, you had mentioned, first VP, about raising millions of dollars and everything else and so on. So we just have to be careful of that when we put those type of information publicly, because it opens up to be challenged by the public. Well, how much have you raised so far in this millions and millions of dollars and everything else and so on? So that's the only comment I have. But again, thank you, First VP, for presenting this meeting tonight. Race for it.
Race first. Thank you, President Rob. Yeah. There definitely there has been a lot of contention about FACA Rock, and one of the parts of the proposal was for us at the division to purchase stock in FACA Rock, making it officially a business that's owned by the division, by us having a share in it. Believe that could possibly eliminate that separation. But that is a part of the proposal. I'm not sure. I think I missed that convention, but I thought that they had a vote on it on FACA Rock specifically to allow him to push it. I'm not sure, President Ross, but are you aware of anything like that happening?
Yes, I'm not aware, because what happened in 2016, I don't know if everybody's aware that since 2016, there's a lot of longtime UNIA members that has been kind of dismissed or put out of the UNIA by our current leadership. So the question kind of died down. The issue kind of died down when the previous President General and the previous First Assistant President General and the previous Secretary General, and a lot of these people that were longtime active members of our parent body were kind of dismissed or put out of the UNIA. So the conversation kind of died down because it was these people that was questioning, was this a violation of the Constitution or not? But anyway, 421 did not question it. We just went with the flow. And what you mentioned a little while ago, First VP, our division buying stocks into FACA Rock, I think there ain't nothing wrong with that, if that's something that we decide to do as executive body. Last I remember that the stocks in FACA Rock are worth $600 per share.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know if it's still that today, $600 per share. But if that's something that we decide to do as a division, we can use Section 42 in Article 3 to say, well, the Constitution says that we can invest. It's Article 3 in the second part, because the Constitution is divided into two. And I think it's in the Book of the Rules, the second half of the Constitution. And Article 3, Section 42 says that a division can invest in private stocks. And then Section 41 says we can't, nobody's permitted to offer stocks and shares of a private company within the UNIA meeting. So we'd be justified based on Section 42 to buy stock in FACA Rock. But then again, 41, we wouldn't be justified to buy stocks. I don't know if you see it. First,
Yes. Investment of money. Yeah.
Go ahead and read it out so everybody can see it.
The investment of money or selling outside stocks. Section 6 or
Section 41 is no selling of stocks or shares And then section 42 is the investment by divisions.
Yes.
So if you can read that to everybody, and if
Selling of
that's
outside stock. Yeah.
section 41, yeah.
41. All right. No investments by division. The Well, mine says section 6, investment of money, and no investment by division says section 7. Not sure if that's a.
Are you in Article 3?
I am in Article
Is that
7. I'm in Article 7.
okay? It's Article 3, section 41 and section 42.
Article 3, section 41 and 42.
It might be, it's toward the middle of the Constitution, or toward the middle to later part. It's in the
Okay, yeah, because I got Article 3 here talking about deputies to convention. Article 3.
no, keep on going further.
Okay. Article 3, jurisdiction terms. 42. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got
41
division.
and 42.
41. No selling of stocks or shares. No officer or member of a division shall be allowed to sell private stocks or solicit shares for any individual or private company at a meeting of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. Let me read that one more time. No officer or member of division shall be allowed to sell private stocks or solicit shares for any individual or private company at a meeting of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. Section 42 says investments by division. Divisions or societies of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League may invest their money in self-owned businesses of any description upon the approval of the parent body.
So you see how it's contradictory? I don't know if it's contradictory to you, but it's contradictory to me.
Okay. They amended it in August 2005. And the amended version of that is divisions or society of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League may invest their money in a self-owned business of any description upon approval of the parent body. Such self-owned businesses by the division must have another name. It cannot use the name of the UNIA-ACL or the name of the local division. That was added, amended.
In 2004. In 2004.
2005, yes.
2005. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's been a conversation that's been ongoing since 2016, and so
Right.
on.
I think we have to approach it from what's best for our people. Is this and farming and agriculture, food readiness, something that we have to take seriously for our people, and we have to do it with this is my opinions now, with the organization that's going to help us accomplish that goal the fastest, the easiest, and least resistance. My opinion. So,
Thank you so much, First VP, for your input.
Yes, sir.
Race first.
Yes, sir. We at 21 minutes after. Thank you so much to President Ross for being here, for your input as well, and for your, you've been doing the work for a long, long time. I appreciate you. Always believing in me, big up for me. I appreciate it. I don't have anything else myself tonight. Next week we're talking about how to position the fund as a central bank. I think I have a little bit. That one is going to be how to start a family bank by leveraging the family trust structure. Here, we're going to get that. I'll send it out to everybody, and kind of talks about the role of family banks in a central bank, central fund, and we'll get into it next week. I'm not sure what happened. This happened here, but I'm
one other thing I had sent a message to Brother Art in the chat, but it's in reference to the Whirlwind newsletter supposed to be coming out between tonight and tomorrow. I just want to make sure, Brother Art, you seen the message. And
No, I haven't, but I'm gonna be on the Whirlwind after the meeting.
okay, the link for Menelik II is the message that I sent. It wasn't working, so if you get a chance, see if you can get that link there working in the historical section.
Okay.
All right. But
All right.
other than that, everyone look out for our local publication or local weekly, and it goes national and international publication, the Whirlwind newsletter. The next issue come out within the next day or two. Race first.
Okay, raise first. Thanks, man.
All right. Our motion, we move to close. There's a second.
I second the motion.
All right. Is there any unreadiness, any other comments?
Good discussion, First VP.
Yeah, raise first, bro. That was on time.
Raise first, family. It's been moved and properly seconded. We move to close. There's no unreadiness. Ask. We will move to close. Put your right fist in the air. Repeat after me. One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One destiny.
Africa. For the Africans.
For the
Africans.
Those at home.
Those at home.
And those abroad.
Those abroad.
Race first, family.
Race first.
See y'all next week. Bye-bye.